Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah. Well, the decorations are up, the Christmas dress is on, which means Christmas crafting has officially begun. In this video, I'll show you how to make my brand new free nativity mandala design. This is a really beautiful traditional nativity paper craft project to make for your festive crafting. Let's get started. You can download the free cutting file for this project at craftwithsarah.com/free-svgs or follow the link in the description of this video to go straight to the download page. The download comes in a zip folder and you need to unzip this before you can upload the files into Cricut Design Space. Once you've downloaded and unzipped the folder, it's time to get the file into Cricut Design Space. Open up Design Space and start a new project, and then go into Upload on the left and then Upload Image. You can then either click Browse to find the files on your computer or drag and drop them in. Make sure you choose the unzipped version of the folder, and then the file to choose is the one which starts SVG in the file name. Click and drag it in, and it should look like this with all of the layers one on top of the other. If yours looks different and you see the layers next to each other instead, that means you've accidentally uploaded the wrong file type. So if that's the case, click Cancel down on the bottom right, and then try again and make sure you choose the one which starts SVG. Press Upload, and then click the design in your recent uploads to get that green border around the edge, and press Add to Canvas. Here is my design, and you can see the layers down the right hand side. This one only has 4 layers, but it does take a little while to cut out because of all the intricate mandala details. I'm going to resize this to make it a little bit bigger so that it's easier for my Cricut to cut it out. Click on the padlock icon if it's open to close it, so let's click that. And it's a bit buggy, you might have to click it twice for it to actually close. Now that padlock is closed, I can type in my new height. I'm going to choose 7.75 inches, which is the maximum size I can cut on A4 card. Press Enter on my keyboard, and then the height changes in proportion. It doesn't matter that that height is bigger than 7.75 because that's the height of my A4 card, so it's bigger than the width anyway. And then that's it, that's all you have to do. So I'm going to go ahead and press Make It, and this separates out all of the layers. As I'm using A4 card, I need to change that for all of the different colours. And you can see how that just fits on, like it's touching those guidelines on each side, but that's absolutely fine. It's going to cut beautifully. When you're happy with how everything's looking, press Continue down on the bottom right to connect to your Cricut machine, get all of the layers cut out, and then I'll show you how to stick them together. Here are my layers all cut out, and I've just laid them one on top of the other to check I'm happy with the colours and that I've got everything cut out. Now my 2 shades of blue I've got in the mandala are quite similar. I maybe should have done them slightly different, but I think once it's layered up, it will look just fine. We're going to be sticking this together with a combination of glue and 3D foam squares. The glue I'm using is called Collall. I really like it because it doesn't bend or wrinkle the cardstock like other glues can do, and I put it in these needle tip applicator bottles. They've got a really thin tip on them, so it's going to make it really easy to get the glue into all of these pieces of the mandala background. These are the foam squares I'll be using. They're quite big, so I will need to cut them smaller with some scissors, but any brand of foam squares will work just fine. As with all layered designs, we need to work at the bottom and come upwards. So let's move these layers apart until we're left with just the bottom one, which is the one without any cutouts, and then the next layer, which is the lightest blue one. This is going to be a foam square layer. So let's turn it upside down, and don't worry that my card's a little bit chewed up here. My Cricut was really struggling with this blue card to actually cut through it without tearing. So the back is a mess, but the front is perfect. So that's all that really matters. All right, so I'm going to start adding my foam, and I've just cut some of these foam pads smaller, as I said, with a pair of scissors because they were too big otherwise to fit around the edge. I'll start with the edge and then work my way into the middle. And you want to make sure that you have a good amount on here that it's going to have an even stick all the way around, and you're not going to get any sort of dipping down where there's no foam squares underneath. So that's why I'm adding quite so many around this edge. It will give a better look overall when we stick it together. If we were to leave it like this with just having the foam squares around the edge, then our middle of the design has got nothing on it to support all of this cardstock, so it's going to dome downwards like this and not look properly 3D. So what you need to do is make sure you put some foam in the middle sections as well. Don't go over any of the gaps or the cutouts in the card, otherwise you'll be able to see the foam when you turn it over, and we don't want to be able to see it, we want it all to be nice and hidden. So I'm just going to keep adding my foam in some of these other spaces to make sure it's really, really stable and secure when it's stuck together. Now that I've got all of my foam on there, I can peel the tops off to reveal the stickiness underneath. Now they're all done, I think. Let's bring that bottom up, and then we can line up the little point of the star at the top to know where this goes. So I'm going to get that point lined up and then just gently drop this down without putting any pressure on it yet. And that's so that I can check I'm happy with how it's all lined up before sticking those foam squares. And if I hadn't quite have got it lined up, I could pick this up and peel it off really easily at this point without damaging anything. But I am actually happy with that, so I'm going to push down to get it all nice and stuck. Now we can move on to the next layer, which is this one here with all of the mandala details. Now for this one, it's up to you. You can either glue it or use the foam squares. I'm going to glue it because I think it shows the little strip of the light blue better when it's glued rather than if it was foamed and you get the shadowing between the lines. It just doesn't show it up as much. Also, there are lots of little details on this layer, so the glue is helpful. Got my needle tip applicator bottle, and I'll start by going into that point of the star and then whizzing my way around in all of these big sections so I can do it nice and quickly. I think I could probably do with a little bit extra in some of these spaces, and because I've got this needle tip bottle, it means I can whiz round the patterns in the mandala and it doesn't make any mess. It's really easy and quick, and I'm going to get an overall better stick because I put some of that glue in the middle bits. I think I'll just go around that circle too, and that should be fine. Put the lid back on my glue. I always forget to do that. All right. Put this back in, and again I'm going to use that point on the top of the star to know where this goes, and also you can line it up with the mandala pattern from the layer underneath, so that should all line up perfectly like that. And you see now what I mean about just seeing that little bit of the light colour through, which was why I decided to glue this layer. The next and final layer is the darkest one to go on the top, and this will be a foam layer. So once again, I'm going to add all of my little foam squares around the edge, but also inside the figures. I'm a bit worried about the bottom of this star, that it might kind of fold downwards and touch the layers underneath. So I'm going to try and get the thinnest piece of foam to go in the point of the star. We'll see if this will work. It might be too thin. I got my foam and some scissors. Just cut that. That might even still be too thick. Let's see if that will go in. You don't want it poking out over any of the edges. But actually that looks like it's fitted in pretty well, so that was lucky. And now I can peel the tops off of all of these foam squares to get that stickiness. Right, now we can stick this one on. Once again, starting with the star. And then gently drop it. I've stuck it to my finger over here. Okay. I am happy with that. So I'm going to push down to get that all stuck, and then there we go. So I think maybe I should have actually used black for the top layer rather than a really dark blue, as it doesn't overly stand out that much. But generally I'm happy with this. I think it's really, really pretty, and it will be a lovely decoration for Christmas. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make this beautiful nativity mandala papercraft project. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Cricut Christmas projects. Thank you for watching. Bye!